the believers. Huh? You enter, this is your bayt. Huh? And therefore, no matter where you come, sharq, east or west, hatta even the most rough of people, huh? And the most, the most tough of people in their life, and the most rude of people, when they enter the Kaaba, there's still that feeling of comfort zone and tranquility, because it is فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Yani it's a symbol to the whole ummah that this bayt is your bayt. This is your home. And when you enter your home, there has to be that feeling of inner peace and comfort and tranquility. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Maybe we can take it the family, since bayt also means a household and a family. How can that then work also in relationship with this فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ? Well, you see, البيت يعني الكعبة المشرفة is a symbol of tawheed. Symbol of tawheed. وَإِذْ يَرْفَعُ إِبْرَاهِيمُ الْقَوَاعِدَ مِنَ الْبَيْتِ. وإبراهيم بطل التوحيد, يعني the hero of توحيد في القرآن الكريم is Ibrahim عليه السلام. You saw how he argued with all these people. This symbol of tawheed, the symbol of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah on earth, the symbol of tawheed that stands in Mecca, this is the bayt. As if the ayah is telling us, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. They should worship the creator or the Lord of this house, which is the symbol of Tawheed. And it's a usra, or it's a family of Tawheed. This bayt resembles a household really of Tawheed, and all those people who believe in Tawheed are children of this house and part of this family. They may have different names, and they may have different mothers, and they may have different things, lakin their deen is La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah, and this Kaaba is the symbol of that. Therefore, they're the same family. Indeed, Al-Quran emphasizes on this, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ. Al-Mu'minun are indeed brothers. Ajib. The brothers to what? More hadith al-Bukhari Muslim. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, Al-Anbiya'u ikhwatun li'allat. Al-Anbiya themselves are brothers. Deenuhum wahid wa ummahatuhum shatta. Their deen is one and their mothers are different. As if the Kaaba is your father then. لكن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم tells us, or Quran Kareem tells us a little bit more. He says, بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم, النبي أولى بالمؤمنين من أنفسهم وأزواجه أمهاتهم. And Nabi is more worthy of the mu'mineen than themselves, and his wives are the mothers of the believers. So when Al-Quran Al-Kareem says فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, and Al-Bayt talks about a family, a surname. Well, your surname is Tawheed. It doesn't matter what your name really is. And the wives of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam are your mothers, and he is like your father, even if he's not your biological father. Hadith ibn Majah, أنا لكم إنما أنا لكم مثل الوالد. I am to you like the father. So Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is your father. His wives are your honorable mothers, and everyone else in the family, إِنَّمَا الْمُؤْمِنُونَ إِخْوَةٌ, are your brothers. Therefore, this household is also a family, and the symbol of this household is the Kaaba. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. طبعا this is from a linguistic point of view, يعني. لكن there is isharat, there are signals in these. Al-Quran Al-Kareem gives us these things so we can sort of take it and try to contemplate about it. What do you mean? Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. يعني, oh you people who are brothers in Tawheed. Tara, number one, this is the home of all of you. Yani la ilaha, the Kaaba, which represents La ilaha illallah, is your home. Your home is La ilaha illallah. Don't make any other home. Don't make little rooms within the home. Keep the home La ilaha illallah, because فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. There's only one bayt. There's not two bayts. Huh? One bayt. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Since you all belong to one roof, you are all under one roof, and you are all brothers of the same family. The Prophet is your father, sallallahu alayhi wa alayhi, and his honorable wives are your honorable mothers. Then act like a family. Huh? Don't take axes and shovels and try to destroy the bayt. Keep that bayt intact and refer back to that bayt under that umbrella of La ilaha illallah Muhammadun Rasulullah. Yes, you may be in different corners of this bayt, lakin you're still under the bayt. Unity does not mean conformity. Unity does not mean conformity. If we learned anything from the Sahaba radiyallahu ta'ala anhum ajma'een, we learned that we can look at one thing and see it two different ways. Bani Qurayza's event is all of you know it. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. رَبُّكُمْ وَاحِدْ وَبَيْتُكُمْ وَاحِدْ وَدِينُكُمْ وَاحِدْ. No more stipulation than the bayt. La ilaha illallah. That's the bayt of Tawheed, the house of La ilaha illallah. لا وكذلك لا يزالون مختلفين. هو Allah created people to be different. Different capacities, with different understandings, different backgrounds, different levels of knowledge, different intellect, different. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not will for all people to be the same. That's something that we ought to recognize. Like, we ought to keep things again within the house. This house belongs to all the family, not to certain people of the family. And no one of the family has the right to kick anyone out of the house. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. There is a need. I'm not saying there are no differences. I'm not dreaming. لأنه القرآن told us there will be differences. وكذلك لا يزالون مختلفين. This is the sunnah of hayah. This is the way of life. That's how it is. Like, the point is two things, and we're all, let's say, in the students of knowledge. I'm sure you all agree with me. I know that scholars would not call themselves scholars. We're all students of knowledge. And the journey of knowledge starts after finishing from the schools or the madrasas or the universities or whatever we want to call them. I know we all understand that 9 years or 10 years or 15 years of studying does not make anyone a scholar. It may give us the keys to unlock some doors to acquire more knowledge. It definitely does not make us the judges and the executioners. Because after all, if we are actually inheritors of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as the hadith Sahih, Imam al-Tirmidhi and others narrated it, al-ulama warathatul anbiya, may Allah make us among them. Ulama is a big word. Ulama, ilm, alim, comes from alam. Alam means universe. Not just one thing or one idea or one this or one that or etc. It's a universe. And that's why one of our mashayikh, after he passed away, we looked at the picture, and behind that picture, one of the shuyukh, rahimahullah, one of his students, he says, عالم في نفس وأمة في شخص. A whole world was in this nafs, in this one human soul, and a universe is in one person combined. Oh, that's the whole point. Inna Ibrahim kana ummah, by himself, alayhi salam. Ibrahim himself was an ummah. There is no need for anybody else. He was the whole ummah himself embodied. Oh, that's the whole point of the alim. Well, there's ulama, or in Syria they used to say there's ulama and there's alama. Alama there means over water. There's water under them. There's ulama. So may Allah make us among those who at least are trying to be the people of ilm or trying to acquire knowledge. Sayyid al-Walid rahimahullah used to always say, son, if you stop learning today, you can't teach tomorrow, regardless how long you study. Anyway, al-ilm is supposed to be rahim bayna ahlih. It's supposed to be a bond amongst its people. It's supposed to be a rahim, a matter of compassion. The more people learn, the more compassionate they become. Why? Because it's humbling. Why? Because the more people learn, the more they realize how much they do not know. And the less people learn, the more they think they know everything. Huh? Isn't that true? Isn't that true? Look at our Salaf. Imam Abu Hanifa radiyallahu anhu wa rahimah. Imam al-Shafi'i. With those great a'imma rahimahumullah ta'ala wa radiya anhum. Huh? Sayyidina Umar himself radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. When he used to do fatwa, and they asked him, Ya Umar, how come you gave last year a different fatwa? He says, هذا على ما علمنا وذاك على ما كنا نعلم. This is based on what we know now, and that was based on what I knew then. Huh? Sayyidina Umar is not shy. He will tell you. Huh? He doesn't pretend. The transparency that's sought, because you see, since the ulama are inheritors, are heirs of the Anbiya came to give all people, the ummah of da'wah and the ummah of ijabah. Not just the ummah of ijabah, also the ummah of da'wah. They came to give all people, regardless of background, hope, growth, and opportunity. They did not come to take hope away from sinners. Al-Anbiya were not sent necessarily to the Malaika, according to most of the scholars. I understand there are differences on the issue. And I believe that, as Ninowy says, that Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent to Malaika tashrifan, inshallah. Khair. I'm not talking about this. In general, in the practical level on earth. Al-Anbiya were sent to people who were not behaving like angels. Because if they were behaving like angels, there was no need to send scholars. Those guys are Malaika already, bismillah. Huh? Like, and they were sent to polish the human soul, to give it its potential so it can rise to the highest level of humanity. So that soul becomes the channel of the Muhammadan mercy that's unconditional. If that soul that is, or if that inheritor or heir of the prophets prevents compassion and growth and hope to people, then they are not representing the message of Muhammadun Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And that's why I always say, and that's my belief, again, obviously all of you are scholars, you can disagree, and I still love you, it doesn't make a difference. Like, and I believe any interpretation of the texts meaning the Quran and the Sunnah, that are not based on unconditional compassion are illegitimate interpretation by definition. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam came with that inclusivity to the whole world, to the whole universe, so that even the trees were weeping on him sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi. The birds were weeping on him. The rocks and the stones were yearning to his closeness sallallahu alayhi wasallam, because he was rahmah to even the stones, not to people. We all know the many hadith Ibn Umar, Ibn Abbas, or others, when they looked at the Kaaba, hadith Ibn Umar, Ibn Majah, hadith Hasan, inshallah ta'ala, to say the least, where they looked at the Kaaba and they say, Ma a'zamaki wa ma akramaki, how honorable you are, O Kaaba of Allah, but the mu'min is more honorable than you are. The whole deen came for the happiness of the human being. خَلَقَ لَكُمْ سَخَّرَ لَكُمْ. All this dunya is for you. So it's for us to give people hope and to give them unconditional compassion, and especially those we disagree with. Because I always again say, if you're good to those who are good to you, then what good are you? That unconditional compassion that we give those people, Al-Quran wa Sunnah take us through so many things to show us that inclusivity and that patience and sabr. Why do you think Allah says to Luqman, Ya bunayya aqim as-salah wa'mur bil ma'ruf wanha 'anil munkar? What happened after that? Wasbir ala ma asabak. Musiba? Asabak yani min musiba? Order the good, forbid the evil, and then be patient on what's going to happen to you. Of course, the da'wah requires patience. Patience. Islam did not come with weapons of mass destruction for those who don't believe in it. Islam came with weapons of mass instruction, mass construction. It's not that those, حتى you all know الحديث في صحيح مسلم, حديث دوس الأشعريين, when they came and they told him, يا رسول الله إن دوسا عصت. Ya Rasulullah, Daus, you sent us to tell them about the message, they rejected. So make dua against him, Ya Rasulullah. Well, the Sahaba said, خلاص, Daus halakat. Daus is gone. And once he makes dua, you know what's going to happen, huh? And sometimes we're human, we're fallible human beings. Yani, alhamdulillah, we don't have remote controls with vaporized button on it. Because then anyone we disagree with this, push the red button, vaporize him. That's not how it is. Huh? Al-Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam in Hadith Sahih Muslim, he says, Allahumma hdi dawsan wa ati bihim. Oh Allah, guide Daws. He did not make dua against them. At-Ta'if, you all know what happened. Malakul Jibal comes to him. First time. Malakul Matar, another one. Both of them, riwayah sahiha, authentic. Ya Rasulullah, allow me to crush them with those mountains. It's not about crushing them. It's about giving them hope. We need to be very concerned from a trend of cultism within the faith. Because this faith is not cultism. This faith is about dalil, based on unconditional compassion and openness. It's not about cults. And if we go into cultism, we will only destroy the very fabric of this ummah. And the very people who are supposed to actually be channeling the Muhammadan mercy would be actually preventing from the Muhammadan mercy, in a sense. And obviously nobody can prevent it, but in the obligation sense. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ الَّذِي أَطْعَمَهُم مِّن جُوعٍ وَآمَنَهُم مِّنْ خَوْفٍ. Let me say, فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Obviously this was to the mushrikeen in Mecca. They should worship the Lord of the house, not the house. Allah did not say فَلْيَعْبُدُوا الْبَيْتِ فَلْيَعْبُدُوا هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. لا, هذا البيت is not to be worshipped. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Yani don't attach things and make them holy because they're attached to something holy, and then make two things holy to get to the real thing. فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ. Quraysh had 360 idols put on the Kaaba and around the Kaaba. For every day they have an idol. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam comes and tells them, there's only one creator, there's no 360 gods. They looked at him. أَجَعَلَ الْآلِهَةَ إِلَهًا وَاحِدًا إِنَّ هَذَا لَشَيْءٌ عَجِيب. He's now 360 quote unquote to them gods. You want to make them one? In their mind, we have 360 gods. That's not enough, even enough for us. They're not helping us enough. We need more. And you're trying to make them one? This is the logic. This is called intellectual retardation. Huh? And you know how some people, because one aspirin is good, they think 15 aspirins are good. Maulana, you're going to kill yourself. Huh? Have mercy. Have mercy on yourself. If one aspirin is good, you don't take 50. Huh? They couldn't understand. And I always, you all know that this movement, the civil movement from living in a cave to live in a house, that's an easy transition. From driving a mule to driving a car, that's an easy transition. Anyone can do that. Like, and try to come and tell those people the things that you were believing in and your fathers and so, that's wrong. You need to actually think. You can't just take this faith based on no understanding and no conviction. You can't just be parroting this deen. You can't just think that ilm is actually just memorization. Because memorization, Google memorizes more than all of us combined. It's not about memorization, it's about realization of the information. But we see, when we turn the ilm into amassing information rather than realization, that's where we got stuck. So the ilm became information, not transformation. Amassing information, but not realization. So therefore the ilm is what you can generate versus what you live and what you've embodied. Therefore there's a quest for us Not just to know about Allah, but also to search for Allah. Not just to learn about some information, but to try to search for Him, subhanahu. Try to find Him. It's not فَلْيَعْبُدُوا رَبَّ هَذَا الْبَيْتِ, so that they have to know, to have ma'rifah of the ibadah of the Rabb هذا البيت. They have to have knowledge of how to worship the Lord of the house. They need to have knowledge of the Lord of the house. Not just knowledge of the sha'air and the manasik of the worship of the Lord of the house. There's difference between learning how to worship the Lord of the house and knowledge of the Lord of the house. A young man, is my time up? Oh. A young man, let me say in this 2 minutes, was worshiping fire. But it didn't satisfy him. That information and the rituals that they were giving him, that was not good enough. He grew until he heard there's some Christians somewhere in the Sham. So he went there and looked for them and spent with some people, some monks there many years. Didn't find something right, then he switched that teacher and he went to another teacher again, decades spending with him until that teacher died, and he told them, you know, there's gonna be someone who's gonna come and lead you to Allah. You're searching for him, you haven't found him yet. Even with me. He sells everything and he goes in his quest to search for that man. They take him, some people enslave him, kidnap him, and they sell him into slavery. This now young man is no longer a young man, but then he ends up right face to face in front of Muhammadun Rasulullah, Salman al-Farisi. He saw the information matched the realization. He found what he was looking for, who led him to Allah. He did not give him information, he gave him realization. Is my time up? So I don't want to take too much time, inshallah. Lakin, the ayah has really many themes, and we ought to look at it, inshallah ta'ala, in a deeper context. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala.
Jazakumullah, shukran jazeelan for that beautiful inspiration. And specifically to the viewers of ITV, I'm sure that you would want the discourse to continue much longer, but time is against us for those that are looking via the satellite, but time is for us, for those who are part of this gathering, inshallah, because by no means have we concluded. We just want to say Fadilatu Shaykhana for that beautiful insight. I think sometimes when you expound on a surah, we wonder how is it that we did not look at that angle. And I think the Quran has come with hope, growth and opportunity, but also for us to reflect on the beautiful variety of meanings that you can extract from it. On this final few moments whilst we are on air, we would like to take this opportunity to thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because we cannot thank Him enough for all the great blessings that we experience each and every day, from the oxygen we breathe, from the family relationships we have, but most importantly, for sending us His best of creation, Sayyidina Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. If it is anything to go by, and to be in the presence of someone who is from that honorable household, and the words that you have shared with us, Shaykhana, we indeed thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for blessing us not only with the best of creation, but His honorable family and His honorable companions. We make dua on the first few days of 1435 that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us the insight and the illumination, unites our hearts in these difficult times, so that we can indeed be not only an example to our own family members and ourselves, but also to those who temporarily find themselves outside this bayt. We make dua, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept, and we thank you for your indulgence and your patience. And Shaykhana, once again, Jazakumullahu khairan jaza. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
Well, subhanallah, that was Sheikh Muhammad ibn Yahya Ninowy, not extrapolating all the lessons from an entire surah, but
specifically so
just
that the ummah
one verse.
out
فَلْيَعْبُدُوا
there,
رَبَّ هَذَا
the
الْبَيْتِ,
million
and worship the Lord of the house, the ancient house, the house Al-Ka'batu Sharifa that unites each and every one of us. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it such that we benefit as the viewers who managed to get just a glimpse of the type of discourse of Shaykh Muhammad ibn Yahya Ninowy. Fortunate are those who can be part of that gathering, to be able to spend time with him way into the evening, inshallah, and benefit more from the discourse that will be continuing at the venue in Durban. Subhanallah. But for us as the viewers of ITV, remember that not all is doom and gloom, because there's additional benefit for us as well. Alhamdulillah, we managed to capture one of the other lectures of Shaykh Muhammad ibn Yahya Ninowy from a few nights ago in Logium, Pretoria, and inshallah this will be broadcast on ITV on Sunday afternoon between 3 and 4 p.m. On Community Showcase. So please do tune in on Sunday afternoon between 3 and 4 p.m. for the discourse of Shaykh Muhammad ibn Yahya Ninowy, where he speaks about his great grandfather Imam Hussein rahmatullah alayhi. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it such that we can be graced with the presence of such scholars in our midst here in South Africa, and may us as the viewers who don't have the opportunity of traveling to these particular countries get the opportunity of benefiting by virtue of the coverage of ITV. With that, we bid you farewell. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
اللهم صل على محمد اللهم بارك على محمد اللهم صل على محمد اللهم بارك على محمد اللهم صل على محمد اللهم بارك